Hello students. So let's continue with the first part of the CET on biology. The questions, this is the second test we are doing on CET. So the first question in CET is milk secreted from the cells of alveoli of mammary lobes reaches the nipple by first one is lactiferous duct. Second again lactiferous duct they mentioned as L. Then they have mentioned that mammary duct is the second one. The third one they are called mammary tubule, that is T. Then mammary ampulla, it's A. So in what order we have to write, right? Means first from where it starts, right? So you must be knowing the structure, right? I'll just give you the structure whenever you know the mammary gland, okay? So if you learn, it's like this. Let me introduce a draw. So just draw a mammary duct and explain you. Okay, mammary gland. So human mammary gland. So just a bit, you can get on background. The study, this what we call it as a. Here you get the ribs, right? These are the ribs, and you have the sternal muscles, right? And here comes your mammary gland. It's actually in the lactating mother. Okay, this is a lactating mother. This is a nipple, and here is a nipple. Lower part is areola, right? First one, what you get is here we have the lactiferous ducts 1 and 2. Two lactiferous ducts are there. So L comes at the end, right? These open into ampulla. These are the ampulla. Ampulla where the milk is stored, right? These ampulla get it from the next one. That's about the mammary duct. These are called the mammary ducts, right? These are mammary ducts. Then they open into mammary tubules. Means they still further branch into mammary tubules like this. They come out from the alveoli. So these are the alveoli. Alveolar branch, there are many groups. They are in the some small lobes, alveolar lobes. They are called mammalian alveolar lobes, right? So mammalian alveoli, you get, these are small alveoli. They release the contents. So the first one which I have written here, these are the smaller ducts of the mammary tubule. This is the mammary tubule. It is written as T, first one. Then it leads to next one, the ampulla, mammary tubule. Then comes the ampulla. Here is the ampulla. Ampulla. TA has come. Then comes mammary ampulla. Then comes the mammary tubule. Yeah, first one is the smaller branch. So I'll show you further branching. Right. First is this is what we call mammary tubule. So there are many tubules joining over here, and these tubules open into ampulla, right? So first one is, yeah, this is tubule T, okay? Then comes the ampulla A. These are the ampulla. Here is one ampulla, here is another ampulla. They are formed from the tubules. These are slightly swollen parts. This is the ampulla. So TA has come. Next comes up, there is a M, that is mammary duct. So these are the mammary ducts. Mammary ducts are the one which comes up from here, and they both open in the last one, that is lactiferous duct. So they will open into lactiferous duct. Here is the lactiferous duct. Okay, here is it. One lactiferous duct, another lactiferous duct, right? Like this, they open in the nipple. So if it comes here, this is the nipple, it opens over here. So I just enlarged this portion, right? I hope you understood. One is T. This is a mammary tubule. This is the first one. This is the second one. This is the first. This is second one. Third one is the M. What is M? Mammary duct. This is duct. Mammary duct is here. Yeah, this is mammary duct. M. This is the lactiferous duct. Okay. Here also you can see this is a lactiferous duct. Here, whichever comes here is a mammary duct, right? So the order is T, TAML. That is, first one is T is mammary tubule, then A is ampulla, M is mammary duct, and L is a lactiferous duct. So among all this, the first option looks great and 100% right answer. So this is the TAML. Done. Next is about the parturition. Parturition is the process of. So what is parturition? Already you know. Parturition, gestation, lactation, such things I have already explained you. Parturition is childbirth. Lactation is production of milk after the mammary gland. After a baby is born, then comes the lactation. That is after the childbirth. Then gestation is the period of pregnancy. Therefore, among this, all the answers you have gone through, and the answer should be childbirth. Right? Next comes lactation produces milk. When is the lactation producing milk? At the not before, right? You can see here they are given towards the end of pregnancy, towards the beginning of pregnancy, towards beginning of puberty. Throughout the life, it doesn't happen anyway. It is all ruled out because only when the mother produces the baby, she can produce the milk. Only after the end of pregnancy, mother start releasing the milk from the mammary glands. So therefore, option A is right. Okay. Next is hormone injected by the doctors to induce delivery. Already you know that delivery is the childbirth. Child is born when what happens? There will be production of hormone called oxytocin. Oxytocin is a hormone that helps in contraction of the uterine wall and pushes the baby out. Therefore, the only hormone that is helping for childbirth is always oxytocin. And already you know that if the childbirth is not happening easily, our mother is not producing properly, doctors can inject this, right? Inject and produce, make the mother to release the baby faster, or the contraction of the uterus can be induced. So that is oxytocin. We call that as the quick birth hormone, right? Next comes the trophoblast give rise to. So trophoblast is, you know that the trophoblast is the outermost layer of the blastocyst. What will trophoblast produce? Trophoblast produces or give to the embryo the nourishment, right? Because trophoblast are the extra embryonic membranes. They are only not only protective, they have chorionic villi from that, isn't it? So therefore, the trophoblasts give nourishment also other than protection. Okay, this is the A option. 64 cell stage of embryo is called. What is that 64 cell stage embryo? What do we call it? We call it as a blastocyst. So blastocyst, lot of questions are there. Just some diagram I can give you here. Blastocyst diagrams for so many things it will apply. So blastocyst is a slightly enlarged structure formed after blastulation. So it has outer layer. What is this called? This is called trophoblast layer. I think previous class also we had explained about this a bit, right? This is a nucleus in them. This is a trophoblast layer. Okay. Then some of the cells are inside. These are going to form the future embryo. This is called inner cell mass, right? This is the inner cell mass. Inner cell mass, what will form? What will it form? It will form the future embryo, right? Then comes the trophoblast. This layer is called trophoblast layer. This trophoblast gives rise to the extra embryonic membranes, trophoblast. So whenever you talk about the fertilized embryo, after that the embryo, developed embryo, we can make out that there will be formation of the placenta because of this. Placenta, some part is formed by the mother tissue. Remaining part is mainly formed by the fetus, that is mainly trophoblast layer. And here we have the embryo. Okay. I'm sorry. I'll just draw it because I want to explain you how exactly it is formed. Okay. Observe this. I will show you the drawing of the embryo also. This is the embryo developed, right? The outermost layer is chorion. Chorion from the chorionic villi. Done. And in that you have alveolar blood vessels. These pass through the umbilical cord and they're going to enter the navel of the fetus. And here is the fetus. And here is the fetal navel, right? So here you can see that immediately next to this we have amniotic membrane. This will have amniotic fluid in it. This will give the provide the environment for the growth of the fetus, right? So here we have, this is the placenta. This entire thing is placenta. We can make out placenta is formed with both maternal tissue and the fetal tissue, because the chorionic villi is formed by villi, right? They are helping for nourishment for the fetus. And these have allantois. So this also is a formed by allantois, is formed by trophoblast. So why I'm connecting the subject? Because this trophoblast will produce all the extra embryonic membranes. Like you can see that outer membrane, that is chorion is formed, chorionic villi are formed, and amnion is formed, and also yolk sac. You can see the yolk sac will be formed by this. All these are extra embryonic membranes formed by our trophoblast layer. Trophoblast is, you can see the diagram. See, connect them. This is a trophoblast structure having the inner cell mass and the trophoblast layer. This entire structure we call it as a blastocyst. This diagram is blastocyst, which it is implanted later. Blastocyst will come and implant into the uterus, and later it will form this portion, this structure. So the trophoblast layer from the extra embryonic membranes. Extra embryonic membranes become part of the placenta like chorionic villi and allantois. Therefore, function of trophoblast is to nourish the growing fetus. Are you getting it? That's how we have to justify the diagram and justify the explanation, right? So now we'll move on to the next one. So answer, I hope you know. 64 cell embryo is called blastocyst. We are done. Next comes the seventh question. I told you. Inner cell mass. Okay, that I finished. This is a blastocyst I completed. Now the seventh question. Inner cell mass of the embryoblast or embryo, or inner mass of the blastocyst also we can call it. This will give rise to, what is this giving rise to? It's forming the embryo. Just now I just showed you the blastocyst. It's also called as embryoblast. So another name you want to learn about the blastocyst, it is embryoblast. See how many names you are getting. Embryoblast is nothing but blastocyst, which is formed after blastulation. Correct? So therefore, the answer for this inner cell mass, I've seen, see, this is the inner cell mass. This inner cell mass gives rise to what I told you. This is going to form the future embryo. Embryo. Therefore, the trophoblast form the outer embryonic membranes, and the inner cell mass forms the embryonic tissue or the embryo. Right? So the answer should be embryo, B option. Eighth question is embryonic period is also called. So what is the name of the embryonic period? We call that as a prenatal, means before birth. Natal is birth, prenatal is before birth, when the baby is getting formed. That period of the embryo is called prenatal period. And before it is formed, it will be in this form, is a prenatal period. After the embryo is born as a young one, it is called postnatal. Postnatal andre after the childbirth, the structure whatever is formed, the baby is called postnatal embryo, right? So ninth question, you can see here, the placenta is connection between. So what is that? Already we have discussed about it. Placenta is a connecting link between the maternal blood and the fetus, right? What they are given? Fetus and the vaginal wall, fetus and the fallopian tube, fetus and the uterine wall, embryo and scrotum. So you can straight away remove the last option, that is D, saying embryo and scrotum. Why? Scrotum is a male reproductive part. Fetus and vaginal wall, it is not true, because fetus and vaginal wall, you will have a lot of area. Only childbirth it will come in contact. So fetus and fallopian tube is wrong, because fallopian tube is at the one side and there will be fetus growing in the another side, right? Then the right answer should be fetus and the uterine wall. Can make out here fetus and the uterine wall. Yeah, this is the option C. Okay, because just now I showed you the diagram, right? Here you can see. So the embryo I have drawn. If you talk about the entire diagram of the uterus, it will be like this. Okay. Here is the fallopian tube. Here is the cervical canal. This is the cervix. And here is the placenta developing. Here is the fetus developing. Okay. Umbilical cord, fetus. So they are asking you what is the placenta. See, this is entire thing. This is placenta. This is placenta. So what is it connecting? Placenta is connecting the uterine wall and the fetus. It's a fetus, ತಾನೆ? Fetus. FET ನು ಬರಿಬಹುದು, FOE ನು ಬರಿಬಹುದು. Fetus. Right? Therefore, the answer should be fetus and the uterine wall. 10th question is body covered with fine hairs, eyelid separates, and eyelashes are formed during what stage of development? So, which stage of development you get the body covered with hairs? Mainly eyelid separation you observe because fine hairs are found in 6 months also. Right? Eyelid separation and also eyelashes are formed. What stage they are formed? That's in the 3rd month. They begin to form actually. Right? So answer can be 3rd month of pregnancy. Right? Whenever it's a 3rd month pregnancy, there will be eyelid developed, eyelashes also developed in the fetus. 11th question is HCG, human chorionic gonadotropins, tropin, PIN, and HPL, human placental lactogen, are released. Normally, they are formed or they are released during what time? During the pregnancy period, isn't it? Because it is formed by the placenta. They are the placental hormones. We have the proper logic behind this. Simply, you cannot say, oh, HCG is produced somewhere. No, HCG is produced during the pregnancy only. When the mother is having the baby, then she will produce, her placenta will produce HPL and HCG. That's right. That's during pregnancy only. B option is right. Placenta facilitates what? Placenta helps in what? Already I have discussed about the placental functions. It helps in the nutrition of the fetus. It helps in the transportation of nitrogen, sorry, the respiratory gases. And also it helps in the as a nitrogen waste removal, like a kidney it works. I already discussed about this, right? It acts like kidney by removing nitrogen waste. It acts like endocrine gland because it produces the hormones like HPL, HCG we discussed right now. And also it helps in transportation of nutrients, and it also acts as a liver. I told you liver, how? Liver, it helps like converting glucose into glycogen. Therefore it has another option, right? So placenta helps in what is the function? It helps in all these characters, not one only. So you can see all the answers, right? All these are right because it is doing first one, supplying oxygen, fine. Nutrient supply, fine. Removal of the nitrogen waste, right. So on answer is D option, all the above, right. Next is the zoology madam portions is there. So at least these 12 questions we have the botany my portions. So we have discussed. So whatever I just showed you, just once you glance with the diagrams and you will get to know what are these, right. So it's a very simple thing. And the CET, as you all were explaining, is very simple because questions are like a basic level, NCERT level get discussed, right. Right then. Next time, again, same way, you do very well. All the best. See. Bye, friends.